Hi everyone, am I audible to you? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Then we'll just wait for some time. Let everyone join in, then we'll start with the session.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, guys, only 10 people, sorry, 9 people had joined in. So we'll just wait 2 minutes more, then we'll just start off. Okay, guys, let's just start off. Just allow me a moment to share my screen. Is my screen visible to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just a moment. Am I audible? Can you see my screen now? Hi, my screen
Yes,
is
ma'am.
visible.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, got
Yes,
it.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. We'll just go ahead with that then. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me just uh, check it out. Just a moment. Okay, so we'll start with the pre-processing that is needed to be done when we work with any of the data. Then we have this file on. We'll see how we need to proceed further. But as of now, we'll just check it in a Word file. So we first would need, suppose we have to do a EDA analysis. Just a moment. EDA analysis we need to do, and for that what we need actually, so while we need to do EDA analysis in Python, we have to take down the data, and then we need to do some of the pre-processing steps in our data. So we'll see one by one what are the pre-processing that we can do, the general pre-processing that we need to do. So for EDA, how we will move in, and then what are the pre-processing that we will be seeing it, and then we'll move in directly to the code to understand how it's been done. Okay, so basically, first we will be working with the pre-processing section. So what is pre-processing for you? So pre-processing, anyone have any knowledge you want to put in your viewpoint over here? What is pre-processing and why it is needed?
To prepare data suitable for modeling.
Your voice is not coming. Can you speak a bit up?
Ma'am, we
Uh,
can clear the data for a good result.
Okay. Anyone
ma'am,
else?
we
Yes.
prepare the data before it using in machine learning models.
Okay.
Clean data.
Okay, fine, got it. So let us just dive in through. So in this case, data pre-processing, what data pre-processing is? It is a process by which we can clean the data, we can transform the data, and we can organize our data so that it's ready for analysis and the modeling. Right? So the raw data is often the data that we actually take in from some of the official website or anywhere, so they are actually like not ready, like they are incomplete or inconsistent data, right? They contain some of the errors, so we need to fix that, because if you're not fixing that, so we won't be able to do a proper EDA analysis. If we are not able to prepare a proper EDA, then we won't be able to go ahead and we won't be able to just work with the model. Our model won't learn good from the data. Right, so it will like then if we have running and working with the model, then the accuracy, the required accuracy will not come in. So this is the need of that is why there is a need of data pre-processing. So first, of course, we need to import the data. Then we need to go ahead with the other section rounds. So first we need to import the data, then we need to understand the data. These are the prime requirements before moving into the other section round. Then the normal details, as I have shown you, as I have told you actually, we need to check for the missing value, how many missing values we are having, if there is any duplicate. First, we need these things like, is everything good out there or there is some of the loopholes? If everything is good, then we need to move into the processing section. What are the other processing we can do? If not, then we need to check in through like, is there any duplicates? If there is any duplicate, we need to remove those duplicate. If there is missing value, we need to handle that. Right? So that's what we need to check for. So in the pre-processing section, the steps that we actually do, the steps that we actually do, the very first step is for checking for missing values. Then next, going down, we need to go down and do check for the duplicates. right? Next, we need to go down and see, like, handle the like incorrect and inconsistent data that we need to check on. Inconsistent data we need to check in. What in handling incorrect or inconsistent data means? So this means, like, suppose we have a column gender. Okay, so here we have got male and male, like this it has been mentioned, or male or M. Like this, the datas are mentioned. So my model, like my system will not understand, like not segregate it to a single one, like not segregate it to like two males only, right? So this is my duty to do it. So I'll be changing all of it to a single form, that is male. So if there is any, this is called the handling of incorrect or inconsistent data. So if in age group or price group, there is a logical negative value that is there, we need to handle that logically, and we need to remove those, or we need to check it with those if that is good to go or not. So these are called handling incorrect data. Now we need to convert the data types. If suppose the numbers that is there, we need to change it to integer or float. If there is a date is there, we need to convert that as to date time. And if there is text, we need to convert it to string. Yes, Yogeshwaran, tell.
And currently you are showing some data table, or I am only seeing in your screen that download page only. That's why I'm asking.
Download page. I am
Yes,
just
yes, ma'am. Yeah,
I
you are
can't see
typing.
any.
okay. Just a moment.
Okay.
Let me reshare. Download page you can see.
Yeah, ma'am. For more than 5 minutes, we are seeing that same download page only. That's why I'm confused in class.
Okay. Just a moment then. Like my file area download section you were able to see, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Got it. This long I was writing in the Word file and telling it to you.
Okay. Now
Okay.
only we can able to see, ma'am. So
Okay.
okay,
There
no
might be
problem.
some of the issue, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so this is clear. So for EDA analysis, while we are doing EDA analysis in Python, these are the steps we need to do. The very first step is to check for the missing value. The second step is to check for the duplicates. Third step, we need to handle the incorrect or the inconsistent data that we are having it. If there is this kind of mail, sentence-wise mail, small letter mail, capital letter mail, or M we are having, we need to change it to all mail. Next, if we are having, suppose, a negative values we are having for price, or age, then we need to check it through. Then we need to understand that and work it accordingly. Okay. Then we need to handle that. That basically comes under handling inconsistent data. We'll see that in the coding section, how we do that. Okay. Next, if we have the data types, suppose date data type, number data type, text data type, that we need to see it through. If that is number data type, suppose, and it is of age group, then we can definitely take it to just a moment. Then we can definitely take it to integer form, right? So we can take it to integer. So this is how we will be understanding the data types and converting it to it. If there is a date data type, then we will be converting it to date and time. If there is text, then we will convert it to string data type. So this is actually we need to do that comes under, just a moment. This comes under converting data types. Okay, so next going down, we have the other one that is detecting the outliers. We need to detect the outliers and also need to treat them. Okay, so how we do that? So suppose, let me just give you an example. So suppose we have customer and we have the age. Now for the customer, suppose A1, I am just giving the name. The age of this customer is 25. Next, going down, we have another customer A2. The age of this person is 27, suppose. Next, A3 we are having, but the age of this customer is 105. Right? So we have three data. Two are matching, but these are way greater than both, right? So this we will be treating it as outliers because 105 looks suspicious because very less people nowadays live for 100 years and 105 years. This could have seen in the like maybe 40 years back, when the old people used to stay, like they used to live for 100 and more than 100 years. Nowadays no single people do live more than 60 70 years, right? So that is the reason. So it does seems suspicious, so we need to change it through. So that has been treated as an outlier. So we need to identify it using different forms. We can use the box plot to identify it because in box plot we get the like identification of the outliers, like we can visualize them. Then we can either remove them or we can fix them by checking if that is valid or not by cross checking. So it can happen, right, that a person lived for 105 years. That is not that obvious, like not that difficult to understand, but that is very rare. So we need to understand that. We need to validate that. So this is the part of detecting the outlier section. Next, encoding categorical data. So we need to encode the categorical data. Like if we want to have the column with the text categories, like if we have any of the columns, the gender, maybe the male and female, right? Or maybe any of the true or false, this kind of data we are having. So we need to just change it to number because my model don't understand the numerics. Sorry, my model understand only numerics, not the letters or the alphabets in that sense, right? So I'll convert, suppose male I have, so maybe male I am converting to 0 and female I am converting to 1. Okay, so this is actually we do in the case of encoding. Next, we'll just move into feature engineering. So this is feature engineering. So we need to create useful columns out here. So what we actually do here, we actually, suppose we have got a order date. This type of column we are having. So we can definitely extract the month or the year from order date. So this type of feature engineering we need to put it. Suppose we have got multiple of age category, but what we'll be doing, we will create a column with the age group, right? So there would be young people, adult people, senior people. In that way, the segregation would be made. Suppose we have a column of, in our data set, a column of price the unit price, and we have the column of how much quantity it has been sold. So we will just multiply that up to get the total price. So hope this part is clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have the normalization then and scaling. So what we do it here, this is basically for the numerical data. So this is used mainly for the machine learning, because we actually, there are some of the parts where suppose some of the columns have very large values, right? Suppose the some of the person's income category is around maybe 1 lakh. Just a reference I am getting. This is not that huge, but just for a reference I am giving, or 10 lakh maybe. So giving an 1 lakh, and other data that we are having in the range, like just a minute, the age criteria on up here, that is 25, right? So the thing is, like, this is not coming up in a form, in a single range, right? So in that sense, we can just scale them so that we are on the similar scale. So that is the major thing. So actually why we are doing scaling? So scaling actually ensures that one a large valued feature doesn't dominate the analysis of the other one. So that is the reason we do the scaling. Okay. So then we just go for the clarity. For other column, what are the other column that we are having? We just take a clarity of them and validate them. If they are useful, we keep them. If they are not, we just drop the unnecessary columns. Okay, and we do also check for the consistency of the data across, because if the data set covers the multiple months or the state, that ensures the data is consistent, then only we will take it forward. If not, will not. Okay, so this is the validation and the pre-processing steps that we need to do over our data set before doing any of the EDA analysis. This is clear, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me just show you the data set. Just a moment. You can see it, right?
No, ma'am, just the dog.
Okay, just a moment. Then maybe there is some issue. Okay, maybe I have shared it, but the stuff is we have not taken into account about the entire screen. Maybe I have shared the entire screen, but it is not taking the entire screen. That's why. Just a moment. Let me reshare. Now you can see the data set.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So here you can get the column definitions, the ID, the age, origin, the gender of the person. Is the person male, female, CP? What CP is? CP is chest pain. So we have UCI heart disease data. So CP is the chest pain type. What is the type of the chest pain? Like typical angina, atypical angina, non-anginal, or asymptomatic. Then T-rest PPs, this we have got call, that is the cholesterol level, FBS, that is the fasting sugar, blood sugar, then rest ECG, like the resting section, like we do have the graphs, right? So based on that, what is the value of the electrocardiogram, all of this we get in. So this all are the this all are the columns that we are having. So I can share you this. You can have a cross check when needed. Okay, so you can check down the data from here. Now we'll just move into the Colab file. Just a moment. This one, yes. So we have two collab file. First, this collab file actually making us understand about the pre-processing. Then we are taking this file and we are doing the EDA basically. Okay, so I have done it in the separate file for making you understand better. So this is what it is. So the similar way, the similar template you need to follow in. So you need to go down for the project name. You need to mention the project type, then the project prepared by the person's name, then the project summary. There needs to be a proper project summary up here. Then the GitHub link, problem statement should be there. Then you are starting off with the coding section. The very first stage in the coding section, that is importing all of the necessary libraries up here. Okay, so you are importing all of the necessary libraries that are actually required to make it work. Okay. So basically here we have taken pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, then we have taken Matplotlib, Missingo we have taken. Along with that, we have taken warnings to take it off. Along with the for the pre-processing section, if I needed mean max clearer, that's why I have taken it. And for PCA also I have needed it. That's why I have taken it. Okay, so why we are needing each of it? So importing pandas as PD, since this is our first program that we are discussing, that's why I'm trying to explain each of it in a bit detailed manner. So, okay, so the very first step that we will be including, that is like we are importing the pandas library and giving it a short name as PD, so that we can use it in the later section also. Every time we don't have to call the pandas again and again, right? So that's why we are doing it like that. Next, NumPy we are calling it. So again, the same format, we are giving a shorter name to it, NP. So why it is being used here? So we used it for the mathematical calculations, arrays, matrix operations. In that case, we are actually needing them. Okay. So it's also needed in case of Pandas section also, in any of the modeling or any of the handling numerical data, because for doing the pre-processing we might need it. That's why I have taken it. Next is Seaborn and Matplotlib. So Matplotlib we are basically using for the visualization purpose. So we have taken it like that. For Seaborn we have given the short name as SNS. For Matplotlib, PLT we have used. Next, we have used the Missingo matrix, MSG. So MSNO, sorry, MSNO. So basically why we are using it? So this is the library actually that is used to visualize the missing values in my data set. So for visualizing it basically. So that's why I have used that. And warning we have used to like left off any of the warning sign that is required, like that is an inbuilt Python module actually. So any of the, like when we are doing any of the analysis or modeling or Python, like sometime it shows some of the non-critical warnings that doesn't make any better preference to us. That's why we just take it, because we need to ignore that. That is the reason. Next, we use min-max scalar because that is required for the pre-processing, because if we need to use the scaling or normalization, we need to use it on our numerical data so that all the features falls in between a certain range. For that, we are using this mean max scalar up. That is like, as I have given you the example, the similar form. Next, for the decomposition part, we are using importing the PCA section. So PCA is also the dimensionality reduction section, because it reduces the number of features of the column in my data set, and actually it keeps the most of the important information out there. Okay, so this why we specifically use it for the high dimensional data, like that contains high dimensional data means anything that contains many features. To make it easier to visualize or to speed up my model training, I do use this. Okay, so this is the library, importing library section. Next, we have just gone ahead with loading the data set. In my drive, I have just mounted the drive in. So in my this section, I have my data set in my drive. So I have mounted it in the drive and given the path out of it and work with the CSV file. Like with PD, I can read my CSV and given the path inside it. Now I have copied the data frame and I'll do all my work, like all my pre-processing stuff and all in the copied version of it. So here I have just checked, is my copied version same as the original data frame or not? And how many columns actually I am having in my data set. Okay, now this is the first look of the data set. So I have given dot head. You can put dot with it. Also, you can put df underscore clean dot tail. Dot tail shows you the data from the lower section. Now we need to see the data set rows and column count. So how many is the row count? What is the column count? So in my data, I have 920 row count and 16 as column count. Next, I need to get the data set information out here. So in the data set information, what we are actually doing, we are like getting the information about the data set. So what are the columns I am having? Is all column null or not null? What is the count and what is the data type I am getting out here? Next, we are checking for the duplicates, if there is any duplicate or not. So we have got no duplicates. We are checking for the missing values. So we have also seen there, these are the missing values we are getting up. Missing values or null values. Yes, for this cholesterol, SBS, we have got some of the missing value. So since we have got the missing value, we need to see where we have got the missing value. So we have visualized it. So now see under T-REST BPS, we have got this where the columns are black, that shows there is no missing value. This white lines actually tells us there are missing values. So here in T-REST BPS, we have got some of the missing values. Also in cholesterol, we got the missing values out. Here for all of this, we have got the missing values. For this CA, slope and thal, we have got the more number of missing values. We have also visualized it with the help of a heat map. You can choose any one and do whatever that suits you. Okay, next we need to understand my variables, what my variables are. So we have just checked what are my columns. So by using dot column, like by using dot columns, I get all the names of my columns and I need to check the data types against the column. So here I have given the data types and what is the column name and what is the data type against it. I have got it. Now the dataset description, this is basically for the numerical data only, that give me for ID, what is the count, for age, what is the count, what is the mean, what is the standard deviation, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, what is the 25% of data, 50% of data, 75% of data. These are the actually the quartiles, Q1, Q2, Q3. So this is how we are just going dot describe, give us all of this information. Okay. Now we are checking if there is any unique value for each of the variables, like how many are the unique values that we are getting on. Okay. So while checking it for ID, I have got that there are 920 unique values. For the age, we have got 50 unique values. For the gender, basically, we have got two unique values. That definitely means that there are actually these are actually categorical columns. This gender, then data set, then CP, this all are categorical because we have got only 4 or 2 values out here. Clear, guys? Understood? Up to this, is it understandable? Everyone understood it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Next, we'll just then move ahead then. Just a moment. Yes. So we'll check for each of the sections then. So we'll do the this data wrangling basically. So data wrangling means data pre-processing that we need to check in. Okay, so here as we are doing, as we have got some of the duplicates up here, we need to check if there is any duplicate or not. If there is, we need to remove that. And after we have removed that, what is the shape? So we have again checked here about the duplicates. We found it there is 0 duplicates out. So that's why we have just like gone ahead and check the data set shape. What is the data set shape that we are having? Like what is the number of rows and columns? So 920 is the number of rows and 16 is the number of columns. Okay, so now we need to check for the inconsistent entry that we have taken over. So the very first thing that we need to check in is the part where we have got the inconsistent data. So for that, for while before we are starting off, we need to just explore our Excel sheet a bit so that we understand what is the structure or if there is any misinformation out or any of the inconsistency that we can showcase, right? If we can showcase this, that actually comes to our eyes or that we can see it on, then we actually go into deep inside it and fix that. Okay, so we have got this thal section where we have got reversible defect. This actually is the misspelling that we have got for this. So for this, that's why we are replacing with the correct spelling up. Okay, so this is how we are actually fixing the inconsistency. Next, we have the we have to handle the missing values. So for that, first I have printed it up, like print handling missing value, this section. Now I have segregated the numerical column. This all are numerical columns where I have the missing values. So I will just replace it with the median value of all of it. So I have just given it the new name, that is DF clean, the column that we are putting in. So in the DF column, we will fill in with the missing values where we are getting the missing values. We will be filling it with the median value of it. Since these are numerical values, we can get the median of it. So we will be filling it with the median values up. Okay. Next, going down for the categorical values, where the values are categorical mainly. So basically, we have got the categorical values for FBS, REST, ECG, EXENG, that is the exercise including angina. EXANG means exercise including angina. Next, lobe and thal, that is thalassemia type. This all are the categorical. Categorical means not the numerical. It contains the text values up here. Okay, so that we are replacing with the mode value. For the numerical, we are using the median value. For categorical, we are using the mode value. Okay, so now we are just moving it down. We need to treat the outliers. So what we are using up here for treating the outliers, we are basically taking it off in the, we are calculating the intra-quartile range. So there is a quartile of 25% data and there is a quartile of 75% of data. So Q1 is 25% of data and Q3 is 75% of data. So I am getting that and I am just like doing a subtraction from the 75% data, the 25% of data. Then I am getting the interquartile range. So now what I am doing, I am setting the boundaries on. I am setting the boundaries on. So for the lower boundary, we are doing Q1 minus, that is the 25% data minus 1.5 into IQR. And for the upper boundary, we are giving Q3 plus 1.5 into 1 IQR. So in that form, we are setting the boundaries on. Now, once that has been set in, so we are just moving in with the detecting of the outliers. So mid value, this is find the median, that is the middle value of that column. Next, clean df underscore clean dot log, this actually locate the rows where the condition is true, actually where the condition is true, because we have given this conditions on. If that is lower, then I'll be putting the median value out there. If the that is lower, that is it finds the value that is smaller than the lower boundary, right? So it gets through with that and change it with the median value. And when it gets the value that is upper than the boundary, then it also remove it with the median value, right? Suppose I have given you this example, right? This example. So we have set the boundary as suppose 20 and the upper boundary as 90. So this goes upper boundary, more than upper boundary. So this looks a bit fishy to us. That's why we will just replace this value with the median value of all of this. So that will be a lesser out of it. So that value will replace this. So is that clear? Is that clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts up to now? Fine. Then we'll just move into the scaling numerical section. So we have to scale the numerical value. As I told, why we do scaling. So we will be doing it like that. So suppose here the age section, like any of the example I am saying, for this, the age section, basically we have the age from suppose 20 to 80. The cholesterol range from 100 to 400. Blood pressure range to 90 to 200. So if they aren't scale, right, then they are big numbers are coming in the cholesterol, that is from 100 to 400. So that will actually dominate the other. Yes, Ahana.
Ma'am, have a question. Actually, I want to know that how did you, uh, that PDF into the collab, the heart disease data?
Okay, so I was like long before I have explained that, right? So I have just imported the drive in. Okay, then I have just mounted the drive with content and the drive, because I want the drive to be taken into, and then set it the path. I have inside my drive, I have a folder of heart disease, and inside my heart disease folder, I have this data on. So this is the way I have just taken it for the data set. Okay, is that understandable?
Okay, ma'am. But how's the process?
I didn't get you. What is the process?
How to put the thing, put the path.
Okay, so you have mounted it to content drive in this section. So this mount part would be there, right? Then you have my drive on. So everyone has my drive in your my drive part. So that you will be taking in. So let me show you. So just a moment. This is my drive. So I have this folder inside my drive. This is my drive. Inside here, I have got my drive that is heart disease. Just a minute. Yes, this is my folder, heart disease. And inside it, I am having this CSV file. So this path, I have just written it up here. Nothing else.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Now understood.
Fine. Okay.
Okay.
So where were we? Yes. So we were, I guess, in the encoding section. So what we are doing in the encoding section, we are just moving it down with that part, because we need to handle the categorical data. So this all are the columns. that contains categorical data. Yes, no, true, false, male, female, this kind of data. So I need to handle that so that it can change to 0 or 1, any of the numerical value. If there are 3 values, then 0, 1, 2, or if it has 4 categories, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is where the model will understand. So that's why I have changed it to the encoding section. Next, we have to move into the feature engineering part basically. So here we have to do the uh, this one, the feature engineering basically. So here what we are doing in this case, so we are doing the binary column, like we want to do a binary target column. We want to prepare up here. So that actually what actually it tells basically. So based on that, I have the heart disease data, right? So any of the data whose number would be greater than 0 will convert that into the int portion of it. Okay, and rest will just take it taken in a form that we can understand that, and we will just move in with that. Okay, so is that understandable what I told, or should I just repeat?
Repeat, ma'am. Sorry.
Sorry,
Repeat, ma'am.
I am not getting, your voice is really low.
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Okay, this section, the binary target column, that's what you are saying, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. I am just repeating it down. Just a moment. Okay, so here what we are doing up. So DF clean heart disease. So this is my original target column. Okay, so we have already changed it over here in this section where we have got the data. Like usually we are getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this form, we just want to take it. Okay, so because we want to take it in a form like if it is saying 0, that is there is no heart disease. If 1, then it signifies another. If 2, then another level of disease, like that. Okay, so this is my original target value. Now I am putting df clean num. So num that is greater to 0. So what it do it actually it checks each of the value in the column. Okay, if the value is greater than 0, then it returns true. That means that the person has heart disease. Like if it is getting 0, then it returns false, actually means there is no heart disease. Okay, now is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is the binary follow because this is my target column. I need to check with that. That's why we are putting it like that. Now we are moving in to a form that we are creating like the age groups, because there are all the age we are having, but we need to change it to a form that we can understand it. So if we are getting from the range 0 to 40, then 40 to 50, 50 to 100. So this is how we have got the labels. 3 labels we have got: young, middle age, and seniors. So this is how we have labeled the age people. Next, after labeling it round, so 0 to 40, the people who have 0 to 40, they will be giving the label as young. 41 to 55 would be given middle age. Next, 56 going down to 100 will be given as senior. So this is how I have created the age group. Now, once this has been done, then after it has been done, we have just taken it to the one hot encoding format. So it will be again changed to 0, 1, 2 in this form, so that it is easily understandable to my model or the machine. Now here what we are doing, we are checking for the cholesterol part. So this actually measures the cholesterol level relative to the age. Okay, so here we have DF clean this cholesterol per age. So this basically where we are doing DF cholesterol. So DF cholesterol, it takes the cholesterol values and it takes the like how it is taking, it is multiplying it with the max value of it and After that, it is subtracting it with the mean value of it and will add it up with the minimum of the cholesterol value in that section. Now it is just giving us a form that we are getting the value in a form that for cholesterol that is 0.8, the age is suppose 0.8. So after putting all of this, we have got a specific number into a form so that we can take it in that form and we can add that. So cholesterol per age, we are giving a ratio. Okay. So after it has been done, so we are dropping the unnecessary columns, the ID and num, because ID contains only the numerical value and num section also contains some of the numerical value that is needed to be taken. So we are just removing them because they are of no further use. That's why we are just removing them. Then we are moving on the final. We are just seeing how my final data set actually looks. So this is my final data set. This is how it actually looks. So now I'll see my target values and what is the count of it. So I have got for one, the disease, like if anyone having heart disease, that is 501. In anyone having no heart disease, it is 411. So the class is quite same. If the value is suppose 11, for 0 it is 11 and for 1 it is 509. So there is a class imbalance. So my model will not learn well. So then I had to handle this class imbalance. Okay. So this is all of the pre-processing steps that we have taken in over this data to make things better and understandable. So is that clear, guys? This is how we need to go through about the pre-processing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. We'll then move into the EDA part. Here we need to analyze it. That data set I have saved and I have just taken it up here. And we have got this data set first view of it. And these are the top things that we have just taken in like the previous one. Now we are moving in to the visualization. That is the EDA basically. So do you people have the knowledge or experience of working on any of the EDA project? Guys, how many of you have previously worked on any of the EDA project? Am I not audible, guys? There is no one who have worked with any of the EDA project?
No.
No.
Just a moment. Okay, fine. Just a moment. Yeah, you can download this, Ahana. And ma'am, do you know we all get removed after the meeting and we are not able to rewatch the video lecture? I didn't get you. Can you please let me know?
Yeah, what I mean is after the lecture, we are all removed from the channel and everyone
Sorry,
is
I am not getting your
watch.
voice is not clear to me. Can you just speak a bit up?
Okay, can you hear me now? Am
Yes,
I
yes, I
audible?
can hear. Yes, yes, now you're audible.
Okay, so after the lecture, I'm removed. We are all removed from the channel. This channel, we are all removed from this channel, and we can't see any video for the lecture again.
See, you won't be able to see it, right? Because the video links haven't been published yet. The lecture classes haven't been published yet. That is the reason you won't be able to see it. Okay, so
Okay.
you I guess this will be resolved after this week. So have some patience. So after this, everything would be worked in accordingly. Fine.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine. Let me just move in down to this section. So this is how we need to like after this is the continuation of this part. After we have taken it up to this, then we need to do the EDA. What is actually EDA? EDA is exploratory data analysis, where we need to like understand the data and need to visualize the data. Okay, so this is my data where how we have visualized it actually. Okay, so how we have done it, I'll just explain you that. So the very first line of code, that is top league, we have given we have just selected the CP column up here. CP is the chest pain column, and we have taken the value count. Like value count is count how many times each chest pain type is appearing over my data set, and we are getting this n largest is 4, because we need to take the top 4 type of chest pain up here, and we need to do the indexing. Top league is my variable where I am putting doing all of this stuff. Okay, now I have displaced this top league. So this is my the display part of it, and I have did some of the modeling. Like I have added a title, plot title, I have added the figure, I have just checked 15x6. I could have make it smaller if based on my data, because the data is huge. So for this I need a longer canvas. That's why I have given 15.6. Okay, so I have plotted this X label I have given, Y label I have given for better understanding. So this is how you need to take it, and then you have need to plot it down and BLT, and you need to show it up. So this is how my data set has been shown. So against age, my cholesterol level and my 4 chest pain type has came up. So this 30 age people, suppose this is my data. So the person is 30, the age of the person is 30. The cholesterol level is between 20 to 200 to 300, and that is typical angina. The chest pain type the person is having is typical angina, because it is green in sorry, blue in color. Okay, for all of it. So you can see here, so the age of this person is between 30 to 40, maybe 32, in this range. The person has 0 cholesterol, and the person is asymptomatic. That is, there is chest pain, but there is no symptoms of it. Okay. Hope this is how we need to prepare the plots up for a better understanding of my data set. Okay, so let's move down to the next plot. This is another plot. There basically I have used here basically I have used just a moment. See here, I have used PLT, this matplotlib we have used, but going down for this plot, but going down here, we need to make a better interactive plots, right? So for that, I am using Plotly Express. This is another library of Python. So now here, when you are just comparing it up here, when you are just putting up here, you need to suppose for this data, so this you are assuming maybe this person's age is 31 and the person has 0 cholesterol and the person is a typical angina, right? But here when you are seeing the data, when you are put like going up here, you can see the person, the gender of the person, the cholesterol level, and even the specific age of this person you are getting. So how we can do it? We can do it by the help of Plotly Express. Okay, so here also we are doing, we have taken X column, we have taken Y column, and we have also taken the color. The color is basically is coming from the gender specifically. Is the person male or female? And according x-axis, we have taken the cholesterol level. According y-axis, we have taken age. So that's all we have mentioned it inside this code. And we have just given the layout section, and we have just given the title, like what title I need to put. I have given scattered plot of cholesterol versus age colored by the gender actually. Okay, next I have just showed it. So see, we have got another plot out of it. Okay, so this blue color seems the male person, this red color seems the female person. So what insight we can draw from here? So majority, like apparently if we are seeing, we can see that male persons are more out here, who have got some of the typical chest pain type the person is having. Okay, so is it clear, guys? Are you understanding the plots?
Yes,
Guys,
ma'am.
okay, fine. So this is a box plot we have prepared based on the age criteria. So you can see for the age criteria, when we have plotted the box plot, it is interactive because we have used Plotly Express. So we are getting the lower bound of it, the minimum bound of it, the upper bound of it, because we have understood about the interquartile range. So the Q1, that is the 25% of the data, the 75% of the data what we are taking, we are getting. And for the missing values or the outliers, what median value we are putting in, that also we are getting. Right? So this is giving me an entire breakthrough of the age category. Now we are putting it up here. So this is a scattered plot based on cholesterol and age. Just a minute, guys. I just need to have some water. Just a minute. Yeah. Uh, okay. Sorry for this, because from very long before that also I had a session. So for really long I was continuously speaking. That's why that's fine. So just moving into this plot. So what exactly we are doing? What is the logic up here? First understand that. So we have cholesterol and we have age. Okay. So while representing this chest pain type, that is CP, with the color, with different colors, we are identifying the chest pain type. Okay. And what we are doing, the age, what we are doing that with the age. So we have got this age along this y-axis. We have got this cholesterol level along this x-axis basically. Next, what we are doing, we are actually segregating each one of them based on the colors like the chest pain type. What are the different chest pain type? And also this what it calls the size of the bubble exactly. It tells us what is the peak level, like what is the ST peak. Okay, so we have what is the peak level up here. So you can see the old peak we have got here 2, right? So when we are moving into a bigger bubble up right here, so you can see the old peak is 4. So the bubble size, the size of the bubble is also mattering up here. The shorter bubble, you can see the old peak range is 1. So what we are doing here, we are just comparing cholesterol based on the age. And for the scattering, we have taken the colors because different colors show different chest pain types. So green shows non-angina, this purple shows atypical angina, red actually shows asymptomatic, and this blue color, this is very less, so it shows typical angina. Right? So from here, we can get an update that asymptomatic persons are more out here among the people, and atypical angina is very less. So this criteria is very less because very less colors we are getting in this color, right? So understood, guys, what this chart is telling us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how we need to take it. Similarly, I have plot another one for cholesterol versus age. Here we have taken age here, cholesterol here, and we have just segregated and understood how we can take it further. Similarly, we have just segregated them based on different perspective. Here we have got everything clustered in one place, and now this has got segregated based on atypical, asymptomatic, non-anginal, atypical angina, so that we can get a better view out of it. Okay. Next, we have got this plot where we are segregating it based on age and cholesterol only, but in the form of bar charts. So this are actually the male and the red shows the female. So this is how we are plotting it down. Next, this is different based on the chest pain type and the count of the people. So this is actually and we are segregating the colors based on what? Based on the slope, like based on the slope. It is down slope, it is flat, or it is unsloping, so up sloping. Actually, based on that we have segregated. So this is how actually we need to take care of it. So is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, guys, then we'll just check it on. So this is what it is. This is how you need to prepare your I didn't understand how to read box. Which box? I also didn't understand how to read box. Which box you are talking of? Can you please clarify? The first, which first one? Like, are you talking about the visualization, the first plot of visualization, the scattered plot? Mute yourself and tell me, because I am not understanding. Because without understanding, which one I'll show it to you. How to read box? Sorry, I am not understanding. How to read box? What does it mean? Fine. Like, if you can clarify, it would be better so that I can also understand, and based on that can re-explain that part. But since I am not getting any proper clarification from you, I am just not moving in with that. Okay. So guys, hope everybody has understood how we need to do it. So today is Friday. So by today day end, you will be getting the projects in your WhatsApp group. There you'll get a PDF, and there would be, I guess, multiple projects up there. You need to choose one and work with that very project. Okay. Now, going down here, you have to prepare this in that format. I have also shown you the template that you need to follow it, right? So in that format you need to check in. Okay, in that template you need to follow it, and after every plot that you have taken in, like as I have shown you the plots, after every plots you have to take a section on the text file. You need to take, like the text section you need to take it on, and there you need to mention all of the insights that you have got, that you have received from the plot. Okay. Okay. Box, I mean the big blue outline, the first plane. I have already given. Ma'am, can we get the sample of the collab? Which collab? The first one? I am not sure if I can share that if the management actually like they are agreeing with that. I'll share with you. Okay. Next is about the big blue outline, the first plane you mentioned. I want to know. I am just sharing my screen. You tell me which one. The plane I'm actually not getting. The big blue outline. Which blue outline? Okay, I'm just sharing it up.
Actually, ma'am, I think you were saying the link.
Which link?
Ma'am, the link you, heart disease database link, I think.
Okay, this one, okay, I got it. This is actually the data set. So from where the data set I have worked in the collab file, right? Yes, 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 right. This one. So this is actually the data set. Okay, so I have shown you, right? Just a moment, let me reshare it. So this is the data. This is the data set actually, the data set with which I have worked, and I have given you all of the insight. This is the data set. So here from here you can download this, and if needed you can practice it from your end. For your reference, I have just given you the data set. Okay. Hope now it is clear. Any query? Anything else? Fine. This is how we need to move in, because on this weekends you have to work on this kind of EDA based project. Okay. Uh, don't worry. I have taken a better, like I have actually taken a difficult data set to work with. Okay, but you can from there, since this is your very first project, you will get some of the simple data sets also to work on. So you can choose accordingly, and based on that you can work. Okay. And on Monday you have to give a proper presentation on the project that you will be preparing, each one of you. Okay, let me be very clear that on Monday and Tuesday you have to present your project, each one of you. If you are not joining the session because of the presentation, then your evaluation would be stuck there. Okay. Hope I have made myself clear. You have to do it accordingly. And on Monday, you have a proper presentation session as I have presented in the session today. In the similar way, you have to present it each and every section, like the plots, as I was explaining to you. The similar way, you will be going ahead and explaining it to me. Fine. And if there is any relevant feedback that I have, I'll be giving it to you after your presentation. You need to work it through and make your project better, and then you need to submit it. Fine. And the submitting procedure already I have mentioned. If needed, I'll be explaining again on Monday after the presentation. Shireen, please
Yeah,
tell.
actually, ma'am, I want to know that you used Plotly for visualization, but
Yes.
I don't have too much knowledge about Plotly. But I have sufficient knowledge about Seaborn and Matplotlib. So can I plot the graphs with the help of Seaborn and Matplotlib?
uh, you can do it, but the thing is, we want interactive plots, right? These are industry level projects, like industry based, like you will go down to industry, right? There working with Matplotlib won't work. So there you need to work with Plotly. Plotly is not that difficult. As I have shown the code also, you can just check. Let me just reshare. You can check. That is no much difficult to work with. Just a minute, let me just give you the sessions on. So the similar way how you work with Matplotlib or Seaborn, that is quite a bit pretty much similar only. So let's see here. You have got only one single line of code, and you have put everything on here. You just need to mention everything, like what is the X label, Y label, that you need to mention it, and you need to work it accordingly. So I don't think it would take much of the time for you to understand about it. If you give around 2 hours of time also, you'll be able to fix this. If somehow you are unable to do that, then in that section you can use Matplotlib or Seaborn, then we can try to consider. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
But make sure that you try and use first about Plotly, because that actually there is an evaluation purpose on, right? So if you are doing it, then in evaluation you get a better, like you get an advantage, you get an extra edge.
Yeah, ma'am, I will try absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. And Yogeshwaran, since you are here in both AIML and data analytics, on Monday you need to present both projects. So hope you understand that.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, fine. For data analytics also and for AIML also. Anyone, any other query? If
Ma'am,
not, yes.
we don't have to make a presentation.
No, you that is not necessary. But if for your presentation skill, if you need to increase and if you want a better, like if you want to present it with the help of presentation, then want to walking me through with the code, that you can do. But PPT preparation of PPT is not mandatory.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else, guys? So this all are individual projects. So work accordingly because this would be evaluated accordingly. So work accordingly. Okay, guys. All the best. And by today day end or by tomorrow, you'll receive the project details in your WhatsApp group.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I have one doubt. In data analysis, we want to give in last that insight and the feedbacks we want to give, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
for this AI and machine learning, is that any other other
No,
than
no, no, no,
EDA?
no, no. It is you
Okay.
have to do it the EDA only, and after the plots, you need to just mention what insights you have received from the specific plot. That's all.
Oh, okay, ma'am. That insights I want to put separately in Word document or in
No,
same
no, no, no,
in Colab itself,
no,
it's
no.
enough.
In the collab itself, you can put it. You don't have to prepare any word flag.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
Okay,
And for the
after
data and for the
uh,
data analyst, the insight and feedback we want to give separate in document or
yes,
same
in
in
document.
Excel. It's
No, no,
okay, okay, ma'am.
in Excel, how you'll be putting the insights and stuff. Not in Excel. In
Okay,
a Word file, you need to prepare.
okay. So basically, two documents, one Excel and another one is document for data analyst. I want to prepare, right, for project.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And for AIML, as the template I have shown to you, you need to follow that. And after each of the plot, you need to put the text section on. There you will be adding what insight you have received from the plot. Is it clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, fine. And about the email, don't worry about the email. First, you work with the project. Show me your project, present your project. Then you have to share your project in the mail ID, right? So that I'll be sharing on Monday again. I have already shared to you multiple of time. But if you are not getting, I'll be resharing it to you on Monday again. Fine. Okay. Hope I have made myself clear. I have another session to catch on, so I'll just take a leave. So we'll just wrap up today's session here. Okay, guys. Bye, guys. We'll just meet again on Monday and with the presentation session. So come prepared. Okay, guys.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Bye. Bye, everyone.